What's up, E-Rocks the World crew? I hope you're well today. I hope you are having good weather like we're having here in beautiful Alabama. This is Miss Iraka here, just checking in to talk to you today. I've been able to film during the day, so I found a little break in my work day where I'm just kind of chilling before I get back to my final points of my day. But I wanted to take some time out today because I'm feeling pretty. I feel cute today. I went and got my eyebrows done and got this beard waxed, like feeling real cute in these streets. So I thought I'll take time today to talk to you about finding your pretty. Finding your pretty. So we're all beautiful because we're perfectly and wonderfully made. Every one of us are beautiful in our own unique ways. And it doesn't matter what other people think about how you look. It's what matters is how do you feel about yourself? Because when you can look at yourself and say, "You are fine," and mean it, then you're doing something. Because if you can look at yourself and appreciate what you see, and if you look at yourself and want to take care of yourself and pour into yourself, then you begin to value yourself. And when you value yourself, you're able to then know what you deserve or don't deserve. And you're able to not settle for anything less. So it's so important for you to fall in love with yourself. And I think for me, in my personal journey, finding my pretty was really an evolution that I went through stages. Like I remember being a little girl and just being different, feeling different, being different. Most of my family are, fair skinned people. My dad was a chocolate drop, so obviously I took his complexion. And, luckily I didn't grow up in a family where, I was ostracized or outcast for being dark skinned. As a matter of fact, I was lifted up for my dark complexion. Everybody always say like, dang, you got that beautiful chocolate skin. So I grew up quite confident in having darker skin, but I just remember feeling different. Like, all of my cousins, were lighter skinned and my sisters were, and, they had different type of hair. They had longer, thicker hair. My hair was a little finer and it's, never fell past my, mid shoulder. Um, but I thought they were beautiful. And look, I had people around me who always, like my family, my mom, my dad, my sisters used to always say how pretty I was. So, I thank God that I didn't grow up with those issues around like my self confidence or my self esteem as far as like within my family structure. But of course, at school, you know, I noticed how like, boys didn't really notice me, but they noticed the other types of girls, and I wondered about the other types of girls and like what made them attractive to the boys, and why no one wanted to be my boyfriend. But I think those things actually kept me safe. I think God is gonna cover His people, and sometimes He'll even hide you for a season so people don't notice you. But then when He do remove that veil, like everybody notice you all of a sudden. So you know, I think, in my experience, I've always, have been complimented or told that, I'm beautiful or I'm pretty. But like, I don't know if I really knew it for myself. Um, you know, I wasn't insecure, but I just didn't understand the value of my natural assets. And I think when I went through that period of like just kind of losing myself and, forgetting who I was, one of the key things that happened to me during that time was that I stopped looking in mirrors. And this, during this time, I've had 3 babies. I've been working all the time. I'm getting ready in 5 minutes flat. Like, just not really paying attention to my physical self. Um, in therapy about, about 2.5, 3 years ago, I remember, you know, my therapist having me get up and look in the mirror and talk to myself. And when I got up to look in the mirror, my eyes kept going to the left or they kept going to the right. And my therapist was like, why won't you look at yourself? I wasn't even realizing that I wasn't looking at myself. I just remember feeling super uncomfortable looking in the mirror at myself. And then I realized that night, she told me, I want you to practice looking in the mirror. You need to practice looking in the mirror. Look at yourself and talk to yourself. And I thought that was just so silly. I'm like, man, therapists be just so extra sometimes. But then I got home that night and I looked in the mirror and then I realized, like, I am uncomfortable looking at myself. Why am I uncomfortable looking at myself? And then I had to take a long, hard stare. And when I took that long, hard stare, I realized, like, I don't recognize myself. Like, my face had, filled out a little bit more because I put on weight. Um, my hair, um, I just wore it in a puff every day during this time. My puff is my go to hairstyle when I don't feel like combing it. So I was wearing a puff. And I just felt absent looking at myself. I didn't connect with what I was seeing. And I think that was the beginning of my inner transformation work that started to happen because I realized at that point, no matter how much people look at you and say you're attractive or you're beautiful or you're gorgeous, like if you're not feeling it in the inside, it's going to be very hard for you to live it on the outside. So it's not about people convincing you of your beauty or your value or your worth. It's really you convincing yourself of your beauty and your value and your worth. I believe pretty starts on the inside. How do we feel about ourselves? When I look in the mirror and I see myself and I admire myself and I think that I'm pretty, that's stored on the inside of me. And then how I move throughout life comes from that place. So when I'm feeling, it's almost like, when you're in middle school and you're just, starting to, practice like good hygiene and stuff, and you're learning to, you got to wear deodorant, or you got to make sure that your arms are lotion, and you got to make sure you are smelling good. Like in that period, that transitional point when you're going into puberty and your body is changing, and one day you forget to put on deodorant and you're scared to move around freely because you don't want nobody to smell you. That's how pretty is. It's like when you're not feeling pretty or feeling good about yourself, how you move through life is going to be stagnant. It's going to be stiff. It's going to be tight. It's almost like you don't want to be discovered or like, peeped out as a unpretty person. So it's like it affects how you move. So it's like you have to figure out how to feel good about looking at what you see in the mirror. And it starts on the inside. So why don't I feel pretty? What is it that I'm not happy with when I'm looking in the mirror at myself? And it don't have to be the physical stuff you see in your reflection. It could be something internal. Like for me, I just felt like, looking at myself, I felt like, who is this person? I didn't recognize myself. So I was unfamiliar with the person I was staring at. Also, like, I wasn't taking care of myself the way I used to and the way I know I should. And so, with those things being identified as areas that I needed to work on, like that's where I started to focus my energy. Like I have a best friend who I don't care if she going to the grocery store or if she making a quick trip to the gas station, she is going to be slayed from head to toe. And I've always admired that about her. Like even when we're going to walk around the park or something and she putting on her tennis shoes, you better believe she got on a matching track suit with some tennis shoes to match. Her hair is laid, her face looking good. Like I admire women who invest that type of time and energy into themselves. I'm not there yet, but I am putting more time into myself. So for me, when I see myself, I feel most prettiest when I have my eyebrows done. I feel most pretty when I have my crown. I like to call this braid across the front that I wear a lot my crown. When my crown is intact. I feel pretty when my nails are done. I feel pretty when I put on a nice lip. For me, that feels pretty. For you, it might be, putting on your makeup or putting on a special color or, wearing a certain piece of jewelry. I love earrings. I feel pretty every time I wear earrings. Like, my beauty regimen is super basic, and maybe y'all could help me with some tips. So if you got some tips on how to increase my beauty regimen, by all means, leave comments because I'm here to learn too. But whatever it is that makes you look at yourself and feel good about the person in your reflection, I want you to just start thinking about, what are those things that I appreciate about myself? What are those things that I think are beautiful about myself? What makes me stand out in the crowd? And then work it. Work those things, but you have to know first that that is your asset. No one can tell you your assets, because if somebody come on the outside and be like, "Ooh, I love your feet," but you're insecure about your feet, it's not gonna make a difference. So you have to love your feet first, and then when somebody tell you, you be like, "I know, confirmation. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. You're beautiful too." But we have to really figure out, where is our pretty? How do we show up in this world? And how we show up in this world is how people are going to perceive us. What energy are we giving off? And it all starts from within. So I want you to take some time and do an inventory of what makes you feel pretty. How do you find your pretty? And look in the mirror and just stare. The other day I was walking down my hallway, and we have a floor to ceiling mirror in my hallway. And this hadn't happened to me before. So this is the growth I'm going through too. And I'm walking down the hall, and I just so happened to just pause and look at myself, and I was like, "You're hot." It's so cheesy, but I felt it when I said it. So spend time and compliment yourself. Appreciate your beautiful qualities. Appreciate what makes you you. And just start reminding yourself of that every day. I am beautiful inside and out. I am to be appreciated. I am to be valued. I will not put myself last. I will put myself first. Practice saying that and believe it. And just watch your whole vibe shift. Watch people start catching on and noticing. Like, it's amazing when you're starting to do this inner work, how people perceive you and receive you. Lean into that. So that concludes my chat for today. Um, yeah, I hope it's helpful. If you like this content, click like, subscribe, share. I'm always interested in what you guys are thinking. I appreciate the comments, so please leave a comment. But we are one full weekend in a few days, actually. So we're actually making it through this 30-day vlog. So thank you guys for joining me. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. But I'm going to leave you today with, you're beautiful. I love you. God love you. Love yourself. Peace.